Hey, it's Alze Calhoun with Coveted Consultant, and I just got off the phone with a prospective client, and I believe his scenario maps so well against yours. It left a specific impression on me, and I felt like there was something in our conversation um, that struck me personally. Something about it became personal for me. I'm not quite sure what it was about the conversation. I'm not quite sure what was said, but something about it just made me feel like I was talking to myself 10 years ago. And so I was kind of, I was kind of, uh, I was warning myself. I was warn. I was talking to him as if I was talking to me 10 years ago, or what should have been said to me 10 years ago. Right now, I'm looking for my notes. I just found them. My notes from the conversation. Let me summarize. Let me summarize his experience because I think a lot of it is going to sound a lot like yours. So this gentleman has spent over 20 years consulting. He told me about one, two, three, four, five, six different industries that he's worked in over those 20 years. Um, there's a couple of projects he's working on right now, and 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 in trying to hire help for one of his projects, he found himself learning how to do that skill all by itself. So he thought he was going to be doing some retail related project, um, and trying to understand the marketing for the retail related project. He found himself getting real marketing expertise, like real down and dirty marketing expertise. And now he's finding people taking interest in the marketing expertise. So now he's looking to shape that particular business. And so he's committed to that. Okay. So he's got this expansive background. He's trying to, really lock down on the consulting and really build a consulting business. Um, he's got a number of projects that he's been considering along the way. Okay, so we talked through the whole scenario like I normally do with everyone else. Um, there were two big ideas that hit me. One was I told him directly that he needed to focus because he had had such a long career to this point, because he was aware of so many options at this point. It can be difficult to focus or to choose one of those things to focus on because you know so much. You got so much in your mind and you want to be able to put it all together into one beautiful thing and put it all at one time. That's incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard. It's also incredibly hard to get somebody to buy all that stuff in one big comprehensive bundle. It's just really hard. So I said to him directly, I said, your ability to resonate with someone else. Because this was the challenge he was describing. He was describing a challenge of having to explain so much to the people who were considering his services. And the reason why he was having to explain so much is because he was bringing so much to that conversation. So this idea of productizing says bring less to the conversation. Just make less available to be talked about. And then therefore your conversations will stay right here. And it's so much easier to talk about this than talk about that. It's so much easier for someone to decide to buy this than deciding to buy amongst all these other expansive things. It's just easier. So I was telling him, you're going to have to focus. We're going to have to pick a specific niche, a specific service, and then you've got to be clear about what that service is. Because he also expressed a concern about, when a client signs on, he talked about the overwhelm he feels in trying to deliver on that service. Right, because you're making the service up as you go along. And every time you get a new client, you got to invent a new service. And what that feels like is it's like inventing the business over and over again. So if you got four clients, four different services, you got four different businesses. It's like running four businesses at once, and none of them are profitable enough. So these are some of the things he was talking about. All right. So those were some of the challenges. Now, it got to a point in time where I thought the program would help him. So I recommended the program. I said, listen, the program can help you. Here's how it lays out. I explained how the program is laid out. And I just asked him what he wanted to do. You want to move forward or not? And he had to think about that. There's some budget concerns. I completely understand that. Completely understand that. No blame, no shame, no judgment. I completely understand. You got to manage your finances appropriately. Totally get it. So as we were conversing, and eventually I asked a very direct question. I asked, tell me what else is, what's the other big purchase you're thinking about right now? So you can join this program or you can do what? There's something in regards to the launch or relaunch of your business that you're thinking about right now. And just tell me what it is so we can figure out what makes the most sense, right? So guess what he did? He said, I'm going to need office space. I'm going to need some new pamphlets. I'm going to need um, an advertising spend. I'm going to need A and B and C. And he began to lay out some of these things. Now, um, if you've seen the most popular video on this channel to date is a video called "How to Start a Consulting Business," and I lay out a bunch of things that you should not do. And I promise, it's like he was reading down that list. All of what I said don't do is what he was considering buying. What I said to him directly is, at the risk of offending him, I said directly, 80% of what you just told me you were going to go buy, you don't need. So this complex website he was thinking about, and these other office space he was going to go rent out, and this and that. We went down some of those things. I said, you don't need those things. I understand the premium that we place on being professional. I appreciate that. I want you to be seen as professional. I'm after your premium service. That matters to me. But I'm also after minimum viable professionalism. So what are the fewest number of things we need to invest in order to be professional? What are the fewest number of things that we need to set up in order to be professional? Use your precious resources for the most important things and be careful of talking yourself into buying things that you simply do not need to move forward. Okay. So then we got toward the end of the conversation, and we were still kind of talking through this and making a decision here. And I asked him, I said, and I recapped. I said, okay, these are the core problems you told me that you're faced with right now in growing this business. You also told me that about these things you're interested in purchasing in order to grow your business. How many of those things actually solve the problem that you just described to me? You told me what the problem was, and now you told me about what you're considering buying. Will those purchases solve the problem you just told me about? And I heard him review the list, and he went, none of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not upset with him at all. We all do this. You mentally you get locked in on what you believe you think you need, right? You self-diagnosed what you think you need. But then you've got these problems that exist in the business, and what you're buying and the problem you solve do not overlap. You need to be buying the things, investing in the things, time, energy, and money. You need to be investing in the things that actually solve the problems facing you. Whoa. This strikes me so loudly because I hear versions of this story all the time. People that tell me they have these problems in this way, but they're making decisions that take them over here in this way, and they're misaligned. Uh, Now, here's what I'm saying to you very practically. This is your life. This is your business. You can choose to do anything you want to do. I am not here to take any choices from you. But in this business, part of my responsibility is to help align the actions you take with the goals you want, to align them. And when they're not in alignment, my job is to call it out. My job is to say, I don't think that what you said and what you're doing are aligned. And and I'm so interested in seeing the end result when your actions and your goals actually align. And yes, it hits me emotionally when your actions and your goals don't align. That's part of the reason why I'm in this business. I want to see people's actions and goals aligned so they can get what they actually want. And I've done my best to create a program that does that, that helps you get those actions and goals in alignment so you can get what you actually want.